When I founded the Omni Futurist Group in 2022, it was obvious that there was no significant effort to prepare for the economic singularity. I didn't want to assume that a single particular economic or governmental system would be the best solution if machine intelligence and robotics replaced human labor. I sought out a diversity of opinions and personalities in an effort to collect as many possibilities as we could. We're not attempting to predict what will happen in the future. We're just making plans to prepare. The excellent book by Callum Chase, entitled The Economic Singularity, describes a wide variety of jobs that would be done more cost effectively by robots than by humans. Not just warehouse workers and not just truck drivers, lawyers and doctors, managers and accountants. Just like bank tellers and grocery store cashiers, those positions will not be available. So 10 of us gather together to provide a diverse array of options on how to prepare for the economic singularity. Those solutions are in our new book, Future Visions. So for the scenario that I deal with in my chapter in the book, I assume that approximately 10% or more of the American workers are permanently displaced by technological unemployment. Then that 10% grows to 20% and continues to 50% and beyond. Different countries would be expected to have different responses. And make no mistake about it, this outcome would be a worldwide catastrophe, not just in the US. But there is a particular reason why I focus on the American response. Whereas Europe might be expected to provide an excellent social safety net for its citizens, I suspect that America will not prepare. As the permanently technologically unemployed increase, there will be no way for the current budget to provide enough for everyone to live comfortably. I also do not anticipate that the legislation required for universal basic income will be passed in advance of the economic singularity. Even if UBI is passed, the amounts that are being suggested for monthly support payments are poverty level. So the starting point for my scenario planning is an American catastrophe. Millions upon millions of suddenly unemployed, and the US federal government is not prepared. Under these circumstances, I attempt to formulate a method of providing basic shelter and food. My plan is subsistence level, not typical middle-class American style. If you have no money and you have no way to earn money, then you must grow your own food to eat. And if you can't pay your rent, then you need to find co-housing arrangements. There are a series of systems that have been proposed that combine co-housing arrangements with growing organic food on a market farm. The days of a single family of husband and wife and 8 children is 100 years in the past. A working farm needs a group of people working together, and co-housing can be a way for people to combine their efforts to achieve a healthy, stable life. One of the systems that emphasizes this methodology is called distributism. Another description is from E.F. Schumacher's book, Small is Beautiful, and he called it Gandhian economics or Buddhist economics. Lately, the system has been called the new economy. Aspects of it already are around you today. Have you ever had a checking account at a credit union? Have you ever bought something at a co-op? Do you know of anybody that's a member of a labor union? My job benefits are protected by an excellent labor union. My mortgage is through a superior credit union. I buy at a number of co-ops. Co-ops and credit unions are for-profit businesses. The difference lies in who owns the business, the workers, not Wall Street. When discussing some of these potential difficulties, such as the economic singularity, I like to evaluate similar issues that are occurring today. The closest parallel is of the homeless. co-housing and tiny home shelter villages offer an insight into what might be useful during a period of widespread unemployment. Another aspect that is being examined today is the loss of forest and farmland in the collar regions around metropolitan areas. The Pacific Northwest is concerned about predictions of millions of people moving to Seattle, which might cause a suburban spread out into the narrow zone of forests and farms around Seattle. There are efforts underway right now to secure farmland as permanently sequestered for growing crops only. Some of these techniques could be used for setting aside farmland for these poverty-stricken peoples. Rather than growing thousands of acres of monocrops, perhaps some of that farmland could be split into a series of micro-farms that would be sized for a dozen adults to grow their own food. What I do not want to see is what happened during the Great Depression, in which the suddenly unemployed were left on their own to struggle and to starve. So my chapter in the book, entitled The New Economy, is a proposed approach to the tidal wave of technologically unemployed people during the economic singularity that is headed our way. I suggest that those affected gather into groups of a dozen or so adults on small farms to survive until the arrival of a series of unprecedented solutions from machine superintelligence. That will usher in an era of superabundance. The key is to survive the transition, and that is what I address.